All right, I want to thank everybody for joining us for today's session entitled Digital Transformation in the Pharma Lab, How to Be Slim with an Advanced AI and Cloud-Based LIMS. Today's session is brought to you by Asterix and presented by Eusoft. And we'll go to the next slide. If you have not been involved with any of the Asterix webinars up to this point, we'll take a moment and introduce who we are as a company. And we can go to the next slide, please. And before we turn the reins over to our speakers for today, just a little bit about Asterix. So a couple of facts about the company. We were established in 1995. We say we're vendor and platform agnostic. What does that mean? Well, we are a consulting company, and a lot of the consulting that Asterix does, you can actually go to the previous one, but a lot of the consulting that we do is around technology and vendors like the folks we have on today with Eusoft. So we don't align with any one or two or three. We work with many, and what we try to do is recommend the best solutions for our clients. We operate from locations in the United States and overseas with over 1,200 employees. Better than 90% of those hold advanced science degrees. So we're very much a science-based company helping other science-based companies. And those type of companies that we help are everyone from startups to Fortune 1000. We work with life science enterprise, chemical, CPG, government agencies, and research institutions. We go to the next slide, please. And then just a little bit about those services that we provide. End-to-end service offerings. We accelerate digital transformation and optimize your performance across your entire ecosystem. What that typically means is we help companies in the very beginning of technology projects, from strategic innovation through enterprise architecture, where we're helping you design what your technology stack may look like. From there, we can help pick the solutions to kind of fill in what that technology stack is going to look like. From there, we can help do development and implementation. When that's complete, we can help with computer systems validation, and we even go as far as providing things like ongoing application support, either remote, on-site, etc. And we can even staff. We can provide technical IT staff, or we can provide R&D staff to your lab. So that's just a little bit about Asterix. We'll go ahead and turn the reins over now to our speakers, who I'd like to take a moment and introduce. We have Attilio D'Angelo. He's the Pharma Business Development Director at Eusoft, and Anusshka Raveendran. She's the Account Executive with Eusoft. So I'll let those two pick it up from here. I'm going to sit back and enjoy. I do want to stress before we get started with the presentation to please ask as many questions as you want as we go through. At the end, we will field the questions. We won't read out anybody's name. We won't read your company. We'll just read the question out loud, and then we will do our best to answer them. So with that, I'll pass it off to, I believe Anusshka is going to start, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy the presentation, and I'll be on at the end.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to everyone for taking the time out to join this webinar today. So in this webinar, we're going to take a look at how Eusoft, in partnership with Asterix, can support digital transformation in a pharmaceutical laboratory. So I'll kick it off with an introduction to Eusoft for those of you who might not have come across us before, but we'll also touch on how laboratories have evolved over the years, what are some of the key challenges, data integrity, compliance with 21 CFR Part 11, and next generation LIMS. So Eusoft has been around since 1997. That's over 25 years of experience in specializing in creating LIMS in compliance with international quality standards and accreditation bodies. The company is headquartered in Bari in Italy, with subsidiary in the UK, and Eusoft itself consists of about 40 plus employees, with global partnerships across the world, including in the US. It is also one of the first movers in delivering a software as a service LIMS in the cloud in various laboratories across different industries. So Eusoft Lab is the name of the LIMS solution, and as a software as a service hosted on Microsoft Azure, Eusoft Lab is a Microsoft certified partner. So you don't really need to install anything. All you really need is an internet connection, and you'll be able to access the LIMS on any device, any browser, in the language that you prefer, with all of its features, which may include warehouse management, equipment management, quality control program, and so on. Eusoft also has a wide-ranging experience in providing LIMS for laboratories across various industries. Examples include pharma, next-generation sequencing, research and development laboratories are just a few examples. Eusoft Lab is a LIMS system that provides end-to-end management of your data, from sample registration to extracting that data and generating reports such as a certificate of analysis. So all the steps, including acquisition, processing, and archiving of all of the data generated, is handled in the system, and all key processes are automated, increasing efficiency and productivity. The system is also quite flexible. As mentioned on the previous slide, you can access it on any device, such as a mobile phone, laptop. It's quite interactive and responsive. And the system is also, it allows you to kind of digitalize your activities by tailoring workflows to the needs of each lab. So there are also additional modules in the Eusoft Lab module suite: scheduler, equipment management, warehouse management, just a few examples. So you can really choose what modules are relevant, what modules are appropriate to the activities that you are running in your laboratory, and create your own customized package, so that you're able to automate all workflows and kind of focus on improving the performance of the laboratory. Moving on to laboratories and how they've kind of evolved over the years. So laboratories have undergone significant transformations over the years, driven by various factors, such as advancements in technology, evolving safety, quality standards, and just changes in the way research and development is really being carried out. We're talking about laboratories going from a traditional paper-based setting with few instruments to a laboratory that is now handling large, complex amount of data with less people on site to accommodate a much more flexible and collaborative environment with more data-intensive methodologies. And with this demand and growing need for drug discovery, there are some new key challenges that we have observed in the pharma labs. Navigating increasingly complex digital environments. So we're talking about vast data flows, different operational systems, dealing with multiple vendors, different laboratory tools, all to address the complex testing procedures in a pharma lab. Improving quality control and quality assurance processes is also another important factor, so through ensuring data traceability and security, which links into the next point on trying to meet regulatory compliance easily by implementing a data governance strategy. Artificial intelligence is also a hot topic, and ways to incorporate it in a lab is a question. So LIMS really plays a pivotal role in tackling all of these challenges. And in today's webinar, we'll take a closer look at how Eusoft can help address data integrity and AI with cloud and computing. So data integrity is challenging because of the increasing amount of data types in the laboratory. So it's important that all processes during each phase of the data's life cycle is followed correctly. And the implementation of a LIMS really ensures this. So with Eusoft Lab, sample integrity is ensured through the sample management functionality. So where the life cycle of the sample is tracked from acceptance to generation of a certificate analysis. So during the pre-acceptance phase as well, you can print the labels automatically. A QR code can be used to receive or accept the sample. Integrity of materials and solutions. So this is ensured through the warehouse inventory management and the equipment management module. Expiry dates are tracked, audit trail and verification is carried out before sample validation, ensuring and traceability. Laboratory instrumentation is supported by the Eusoft Lab instrument module, so you'll be able to kind of monitor the status of instruments and plan and trace qualification and calibration activities, including qualification and calibration of units for valid data and maintenance of equipment and instruments. One of the root causes of data integrity issues is a lack of awareness and poor training. So on the slide on the right-hand side, you can see an example of an employee card from Eusoft Lab, where activities related to training, qualification is managed, ensuring that the analyst has the appropriate skills to carry out certain functions, including being able to operate different analytical equipments, calculating and reviewing analytical data. Presentation and result reporting is carried out in real time. So Eusoft Lab allows immediate data sharing with customers, and test reports are generated in any desired format. Handling out of specification, trend, and expectation test results is also another important factor to consider when it comes to data integrity. So out of specification results are test results that are outside of the accepted criteria. So in Eusoft Lab, if any out of specification results are entered, an immediate traffic light warning is issued as shown on the slide here, where you can see a test card of the sample where the cell has turned purple to indicate that the result is an out of specification result. Out of expectation results are also handled in a similar manner. So these results, they deviate substantially from what is expected and predicted, and they can be spotted in real time in the notebook. Trend results, they may fall within the accepted limit, but they can exhibit an unexpected trend. So these can be monitored through the business intelligence module, where you can keep track of these out of trend results through visual dashboards. Retest and resampling activities, these through Eusoft Lab can be approved and validated by any user with a supervisor role, for example, where they can approve using the department area validation feature in the notebook. And the same goes for invalidating data. So these are just a few examples of how Eusoft Lab can ensure data integrity by making sure that the data is accurate, valid, fully traceable, and can be reproduced. I'm now going to hand over to Attilio to take you through the SaaS infrastructure and the remaining topics of this webinar. So over to you.
Thank you, Anusshka, for your introduction about the data integrity. And it's very important to understand how Eusoft Labs can ensure this kind of security for data. Our solution is a software as a service solution, native in cloud, and it is very important to understand the infrastructure, just to understand how it is possible, especially working in a regulated environment, where, of course, compliance in the regulatory requirements is one of the must aspects that the system have to respect. So this is just an example about how Eusoft Lab, the infrastructure of Eusoft Lab has been built and in the Azure platform. The application layer is hosted in Azure App Services, and the database are set up using the Azure SQL database services in Azure as well. And all the relationship between the database and the Microsoft SQL engine are capable and can handling the workload and for the strategic importances of the growing of the lab. Next, please, Anusshka. And speaking about why we just decided to have a software as a service solution. Well, it's very important to understand how the world is under transformations, and we know very well how what the digital transformation means. Is not only to use a software just to execute some stuff that you did manually before, but it's a real different way to make the things. And the software as a service solution give the possibility to the people just to have less maintenance, reducing the cost and the associated risk for the system management, eliminating all the stuff that is related to the installation and the maintenance of the infrastructure. Of course, it's possible to reduce the project for the implementation and deployment of the system, and it is completely flexibility and scalability. All the new feature can be done automatically. Of course, we know very well that being in a regulated environment, nobody can change your system without the notification and without to explain you how the system is changing. And I will explain you later how we can just manage also this kind of topic. And of course, it's very important the collaboration with other labs just to better understand how we can do our job better. Next, please. Of course, speaking about the compliance for Eusoft Lab, is very important to understand how Azure can ensure the compliance as well. It is very important because being the system extremely and totally born in this kind of platform, it's very important to understand how Microsoft is managing this kind of activity in accordance with the regulation that is very familiar for us, like the FDA 21 CFR Part 11 And we have a lot of documentation and testing and proof that can explain how Microsoft is managing the data integrity for their infrastructure. And next, please, Anusshka. It is very important to understand why we have just to understand how Microsoft is managing the data integrity, because of course we have our technical overview for the coverage of the regulatory requirements, and but for some requirements, next please, for the some requirements like backup, restore, or just data retention, is very important to understand how the infrastructure is managing that. And this is the reason why we have just to collect and just to connect the capability of Azure to manage these kind of topics with the capability of the system to respect these kind of requirements. This is an example. Next, Anusshka, please. And of course, our guide and the information about how Eusoft Lab can be compliant to the GFR 21 Part 11 topics is available in our website, and you can download it just to better understand the topic. Next, please. So why we're just speaking about the next generation of LIMS? Because it's very important to understand how the technology can support the lab, but just to give to the people, to the analysts, to the other people that is working in lab, the right place just to emphasize and give the right added value to the daily activities. Next, please, Anusshka. And in Eusoft, we are just driving our transformation of the system using different typology of topics. One of them is the user experiences, because it's very important to understand that user can easily use the system also from the beginning, from the first use of the system directly. The second one for sure is security, and having Microsoft as a partner, and it is very ensured by them. And the last but not the least is the artificial intelligence. And I would like just to explain you a little bit better how in Eusoft Lab we just developed something that can be really usable and useful for the labs. Next, please. So I'm here just to present you the Eusoft Copilot, which is a virtual assistant that is able to help the user to have information about the LIMS processes, but not limited to the LIMS process information. The Copilot will understand the context of your question. It's like a chatbot, and provide you the correct answer through the machine learning algorithms. The engine is a GPT, but is not open GPT like Chat GPT in the World Wide Web, but it's just it can be used in a predefined environment to collect the information. And it is very important because since in a regulated environment, the source of information in this case can be under control. And each question and each answer can be generated just to contextualize the content. It is very important for data assurance, since the Eusoft Copilot will retrieve only GXP information using the RAG, which is the Retrieval Augmented Generation process, which represents the process to optimize the output using large languages models. And the infrastructure will allow the user always to have under control the source of information for the answer generation. The Eusoft Copilot, born with collaboration with Microsoft, that supported the Eusoft R&D team just following in their best practice. But I would like just to give you an example about how the Copilot can working. So let me log in LIMS. So this is our LIMS, and just me enter my user. I'm just going into login, and as it described before, what Anusshka told you, you can just see here our LIMS, where we have all our modules in the left column. Yeah, here we are. And we have the copilot here, which is a sort of the conversation that can be managed like the chat. So as we say, the source of information can be limited and under control. Currently, we have only LIMS manual available for the copilot. So if I ask a question, that is not regarding to LIMS, the tool is not able to give an answer. For example, I'm asking maybe the easier question that all the people in the world knows. Who is the USA president? I'm sorry. Okay. So as I told you, I'm not expecting that the copilot will be able to give an answer because only the LIMS manual is present currently, and this is the result. So the Eusoft doesn't know the answer, so we said the GPT is not working having the World Wide Web as a source information, but only the controlled environment. So now if I'm asking something related to the LIMS procedure, like sample label creation, let's create a sample label. That's it. So here we are. The copilot understood the question and generate the answer in the information present in the manual. And also for each answer, you also can have the reference of the content that has been used for the answer generation. So now I would like just to ask how I can create a sample. And again, we have the information about the sample creation from our manual. Here we are. And we can also give a feedback just to optimize the machine learning process, but it can be not enough for me. So let me ask more detail. For example, the step number 6. Can you give me more detail? About step number 6. And again, the copilot understood the question, just checking more information related to the sample creation and which are the information that I have to enter for the sample creation, as I asked before. Now, I can also always give the feedback for the answer, and as well as I can also rename the conversation, just having a sort of KBA useful for the future. And I can just name it sample creation. One of the powerful features for this model, developed with the same structure of the Office 365 bot, is the capability to have the possibility to work in different languages. So we still have the manual in English in our environment, but I can ask a question in Spanish, for example. So I have to just to copy and paste it. Okay. I'm just asking how the sample can be created in Spanish, and the powerful of the system is that the system understood the question in Spanish, retrieved the information in English, but the user will have the information in Spanish. It is very important. So till now, we demonstrated only that the copilot can be used for LIMS purpose. But what happened if I can include some information in the source and technical information like SOPs or USP stuff, for example, about how I can create some specific stuff. Now I'm just asking something related to the ASPLC column. that I can use for the acetaminophen, is the paracetamol assay. Sorry. We don't have yet this information in our system, so just give me the document to my colleague. He's just loading the USP paragraph related to the acetaminophen into the repository, and it is very important to understand which is the real and powerful usage that you can do by this kind of tools. So in the meantime, the document is under loading. Of course, we can ask all the questions related to the topic that we have stored in our repository. And in this case, what happened if our repository is your documental management system? All the SOPs, all the analytical methods, all the protocols, everything already under your control because your quality assurance already approved these kind of documents. And all of them is under the same folder where the Copilot can understand what you are asking and just provide the answer or just drive for the specific processes. Of course, when I'm asking the question, I'm not only understanding the content, just reading the answer, but having always the references about the topic. It's very important as well, because you can just go in deep, understand in this kind of procedure, this kind of information is present, or in this kind of method, this information is reported. So now, if I'm asking again the question that now we just loaded the document, here we are. So we have the information about the SPLC column for the acetaminophen, because this kind of information has been created in the system, and this can be done for all kind of documentation you would like just to control. Anusshka, you can keep back the control of the presentation. So here we are. Thank you very much for your attention till now. And Kevin, if you would like to say something about the reference for the Asterix stuff.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you very much. Just a couple of quick things before there's a couple of questions I want to get to. Information, obviously, if there's information that you want to get directly from either Eusoft or Asterix, you can do so by directly outreaching to the email addresses that you see on your screen right now. Of course, you can also go out to the website and reach out to each company respectively if there's any questions, if you want to learn more about a particular product, or if you want to learn more about services. I'd encourage you to do so. I would also like to again call out that we will be doing an email early next week, which will have a link to the on-demand video of today's session, which you can, of course, watch again or share it with others in your organization who you think might find it helpful. And when you do, we'd encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as you'll get updates as new webinars come online. And we do about one per week right now. So they are coming online quite often. So you'll want to hopefully subscribe, look at some of our past ones, and keep an eye out for the ones that are going to be coming up. So with that, we'll stop the recording.